you mentioned also this Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery dynamic. And I've been confused by that mindset that they've had, because at every position, at every other position for the Lions, you have a starter and you have a backup. And it's clear based on the relative ability of the players, Devin, that Jahmyr Gibbs is the starter and David Montgomery is the backup, that it shouldn't be Sonic and Knuckles anymore. No, it should be, I don't know, I got to think of a video game guy who's got a sidekick, right? It's more like Montgomery's the sidekick, not the equal partner. And the opportunities weren't that much different. There are Jahmyr Gibbs' numbers: 17 carries, 136 yards, 8 yards a carry. Well, Dave Montgomery had 13 carries, but he had 21 yards. They both were targeted 3 times in the passing game. Montgomery had 2 catches for 18. Gibbs had 3 for 82. Gibbs was on the field for 38 snaps. Montgomery was on the field for 30. So I don't know what they're trying to do. Is it, and I would assume it's more about keeping Gibbs healthy, because he's not a big guy. When we were at the Vikings-Lions game last year and we're down on the sideline before the game, Jahmyr Gibbs walked by. He is not a big guy, which makes it even more impressive the way he plays, because he plays huge. But I feel like they're trying to not injure him. And also, I mean, the other reality to it is he's eligible for a contract after this year, and we'd be foolish and naive to not at least factor into that. If this guy's on pace for a 2,300 yard from scrimmage season, the price is going to go up when it's time for a new contract. Now, if I'm his agent, I say, hey, we know what he's capable of.
No matter what.
If you have a Ferrari and you choose not to drive it, you still got to pay for the Ferrari, right? And so I know that that's going to be a tough negotiation, because it may be that the contract they finally give him requires them to fully embrace this guy, because they're going to be paying for the Ferrari, even if they're driving it equally with the Chevy. All due respect to Chevy, but we all can accept that a Chevy ain't a Ferrari for a variety of reasons. But if you're going to do that, you're going to feel more compelled to drive it. And I think that may be where the ball is heading potentially for the Lions as we get into 2026 and 27. But we see what Gibbs is. And I feel like one of these years, you got to just let him go. Let him do his thing. Let him have a Saquon Barkley season, because he could. He could have better numbers than Saquon last year.
Yeah, for me, when I watch them, for one, I think they're letting the defense off the hook a little bit. I agree with you. Gibbs should see more action, and the numbers are a little skewed last night because Montgomery got a lot of the carries in the fourth quarter. At the end of the game, they were giving him the ball, and Gibbs stood on the sideline. I think Gibbs might only had like 1 or 2 touches in the fourth quarter. So, Montgomery throughout the game wasn't playing. And what I don't like that they do is they do it by series. Like, Gibbs started the game, and then the second series of the game they got the ball, it was all Montgomery. And I just remember as a defender, when you have 2 backs who are good, but they do things a little differently, you had to always communicate which back was in the game. So then you get in the flow of the game. Detroit started going faster. So then you start picking up your tempo a little bit. Sometimes the defense loses track of which running backs in the game. And then you hit a Jahmyr Gibbs type play, the swing pass with Penei Sewell getting out in the front and blocking, and the defense doesn't realize, hey, this is Gibbs in the huddle, not Montgomery. They're not really thinking about that. But when you go one drive on, one drive off, as a coordinator, you can kind of start to plan your calls. Maybe you want to have some downhill run blitzes with Montgomery in the game. Now you call it. I just wish we saw more Gibbs, but we just kept seeing Montgomery in there, kind of Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. Yes, Bijan's the guy, but Algier gets in there and he shows up at different times. I just think these 2 guys are different, and Montgomery's had games like Baltimore where he hasn't had a ton of carries early, but then they start giving it to him. He has a few runs. Now you start feeding him. I just think both these guys are good. Use them while you have them. You probably won't get to keep them for a long, but now that you have them, just keep sprinkling in Montgomery. Keep the defense honest. And again, it worked last night, so you can't complain about it. But I just think it would apply more pressure to the defense if those guys were in and out within a drive.
I just think Jahmyr Gibbs has the talent, and we see it, to be the next in a line of great running backs, from Billy Sims to Barry Sanders to Jahmyr Gibbs, if they would fully embrace it. And again, it may be a health thing, because strategically it doesn't matter. I understand you change your approach and maybe you get too predictable one way if you have Gibbs, and you can look, you can't stop him.
You're
And
saying they still can't stop him.
Yeah, he's going to pop that long run. He's going to the touchdown run that he had the second half. He got hit and he just like instinctively spun out of it and exploded into the end zone. Like, how do you even know where you are after you do that spin? He knew exactly where he was. He had the long reception and run before the touchdown. He's incredible. He's one of the best players in the NFL. And as we see Bijan Robinson ascending, who was taken just a few picks ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs was the surprise in the 2023 draft. Bijan Robinson is the one that we expected to go high at the running back position. I think Gibbs, and Gibbs, he seems like he's very content for whatever his role is. And I think some of that comes from Amon-Ra St. Brown too, because nobody's complaining about anything. You take the ball when you get the ball. When you don't have the ball, you do your job otherwise. You just do whatever you're expected to do. And that's the way to have a cohesive football team. And the Lions surely do.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.